13th of this month. And the last 5 questions are not, you don't find, we did not get that time. So what I'm going to do, the last 5 questions of today's mock test paper, they deal with phrasal verbs. So first I'm going to spend time on phrasal verbs. I'm going to spend about 10 or 15 minutes. Then we'll go to the questions. So phrasal verbs, they come under effective English. Please be prepared to write. A lot of new students are there. First we'll start with what is a phrasal verb, the definition. A phrasal verb is a combination of a verb and a preposition, or a verb and an adverb. A verb and a preposition, or a verb and an adverb. As a unit, it's a grammatical unit. As a unit, a phrasal verb has a specific meaning, and sometimes more than one meaning, unrelated meanings. Usually one meaning, sometimes more than one meaning. The meaning of a phrasal verb is different from the meaning of its original verb. Usually they don't tally. This goes with idioms also. If you take an idiomatic expression, the words and the meaning don't go with each other. Go with means match. They don't match. For example, if you take a phrasal verb like break down. Break down means stop working. And my car broke down yesterday. Break, the meaning is different. Here the meaning is entirely different. You cannot take the literal meaning of the verb in a phrasal verb. You have to learn and you have to remember. Have you written the definition of a phrasal verb? I want all of you to write. A lot of newcomers, beginners, please write immediately. Don't take a lot of time. If you say, "Sir, we have written," then I'll change a slide. Shall I change? Fine. Yes or no? Then you please write. When you write, try to use the letters to save time. You don't have to write every time a phrasal verb. You could write capital letters PV. That saves your time and energy. As a unit, here you see a phrasal verb. You could write a PV. Has a specific meaning. Shall I change now? No, still no. Please do it fast. What I expect from you when I say that, you listen and write. That will be ideal situation. I said twice. What is a phrasal verb? It's a combination of a verb and a preposition, or a combination of a verb and an adverb. As a unit, it has a specific meaning, but sometimes more than one meaning. And usually the meaning of the verb and the meaning of the phrasal verb, they don't tally. The original meaning of the verb in a phrasal verb is different from the meaning of the phrasal verb. So listen and write. You don't have to wait for the slide. Now please excuse me, I'm going to change. Shall I? Thank you. Now look at these examples. General. Bring up. Bring up means what? To look after someone, to take care of someone till the person grows. Educate and nourish or nurture. Then we use a phrasal verb, bring up. And generally it goes in passive voice. I was born and brought up in Visakhapatnam. Born and brought up. Underline, bring up, what is the past form of bring? Brought. And passive voice, the verb is in past participle form. I was brought up. I was born and brought up in so and so place. This is a standard expression at the time of the introduction. What is the second one? A run into. A run into means what? To meet someone accidentally. Bring up, nurture, and you can say raise a person, raise a child, take care of a child. And run into, meet accidentally. So what is the example here? I ran into my childhood friend yesterday. means I met him by chance, unexpected. Run out of, to use something completely, to use something completely. I ran out of ideas in the meeting. Generally, in the last week of the month, we run out of money. Very simple. Then what do we say? I am broke. I am broke means what? I ran out of money. Please try to write quickly. Don't take a lot of time. So I was born and brought up in Visakhapatnam, bring up, to raise, to nurture, to take care of. And I ran into someone I met by chance. I ran out of ideas, means initially I had a lot of ideas. After some time, no ideas. Then I say, I ran out of ideas. Have you written all the three? These are general examples. Now we'll see. This is very important exam point of view. A lot of students know the definition of a phrasal verb. They know all these examples are quite familiar from everyday English. But today what is important, I'm going to present 5 types of phrasal verbs. Types of phrasal verbs, very important, exam point of view. So please write the side heading, types of phrasal verbs. There are 5 types of phrasal verbs. Broadly 4, but I added the 5th one also, keeping one particular dimension in mind. What is the first one? Transitive phrasal verbs. Transitive. Underline the word transitive. Transitive phrasal verbs. I'll read out the definition. Phrasal verbs which require an object. Please underline the word object. Which require an object in the sentence are called transitive phrasal verbs. Without the object, the sentence with a transitive phrasal verb cannot express complete meaning or sense. Without an object, the sentence is not complete. First you write this definition, then you have to spend time on something else. Don't write the examples, just write the concept. What is a transitive phrasal verb? It requires what? An object. Why does it require an object? Without an object, it cannot convey the complete sense or complete meaning. Have you written? Now to understand this, first you have to understand or learn what a transitive verb is. If you take types of verbs, broadly we have 3 classifications. According to one classification, we have 2 types of verbs. Transitive verbs, intransitive verbs. What is a transitive verb? A transitive verb is one which can take an object. It takes an object. I taught something. Teach something. So teach is a verb. What is something? It's an object. I bought a book. Buy is a verb. I bought what? Book. Book is the object. But a lot of students don't know how to find out the object. Please listen very carefully. A lot of beginners are there. What is a transitive verb? A transitive verb is one which can take an object. That is easy to understand. But how do you find out? First you have to know the position of an object. An object comes after a verb. But every word after a verb need not be an object. Obviously you get the doubt or you ask the question, how do we find out whether the word after a verb is an object or not? There is a way to find out. You have to first underline the verb or identify the verb. To the verb, you have to use or put the question word what or who, whom rather. When you put the question word what or whom to the verb, if you get an answer, the answer is the object. For example, I bought a book. What is the verb here? Bought. Put the question word what. Bought what? Book. A full question, what did I buy yesterday? Book. You're getting the answer, what is the word book? It's an object. I scolded one of the students or I scolded the student. It doesn't happen. So, I scolded. What is the verb here? Scolded. You cannot use what. There's a person. So, what is the appropriate question word? Whom. Full question, whom did I scold? Student. What is student? Object. But English has about 15 question words. And the basic question words are 6 in number. What are they? What, when, where, why, who and how. If you get an answer with any other question word, That means not what, not whom. Any other question word, it is not an object. For example, we all live in Hyderabad. What is the verb here? Live. Now what is the appropriate question word? Where? Where do we live? Hyderabad. Though you get the answer, it is not the object. What is this Hyderabad in this sentence? It is an adverb of place, based on the function. So you can find out the object by using what or whom. Any other question word, it is not an object. So once you know what an object is, then it is easy to understand. So what is important here? What is a transitive verb? It can take an object. Then you know what an object is, you can easily understand the definition. Now write these examples. Please write these examples. The boy takes after. The boy takes after his mother. Now what is the phrasal verb here? Take after. Take after means what? Resemble, exactly. Very good. Please write resemble. Take after means resemble. The boy takes after. If you stop with that, does it convey the complete meaning? I simply say the boy takes after. Is the meaning complete? No. So what does it mean? It needs an object. The boy takes after whom? Whom does he take after? His mother. So what is the object here? His mother. And the earthquake brought about. What is the phrasal verb here? Brought about. Brought about already have learnt. What does it mean? Make something happen. Cause change. Bring about means make something happen or cause change. The earthquake brought about. You stop there. Does it convey the complete meaning? Not at all. The earthquake brought about what? A huge disaster. So what is the object here? Disaster is the object. My friend is trying to give up. Is it complete? No. Give up what? Smoking. What is the object here? Smoking is the object. So what is the first type? We have 5 types of phrasal verbs. What is the first one? Transitive phrasal verbs. What is a transitive phrasal verb? It needs an object. What is the reason? Without an object, the meaning is not complete. Shall I move on to the next one? The second one, quite opposite. What is it? Intransitive phrasal verbs. Intransitive phrasal verbs. First you write the definition. Phrasal verbs which don't require an object. I said quite opposite. Transitive require an object, intransitive they don't require. Which don't require an object in the sentence are called intransitive phrasal verbs. Without an object, a sentence with a phrasal verb can make complete sense. So here object is not essential, it is not indispensable. Without an object, a sentence with a phrasal verb can make complete sense. This is also quite opposite. Don't write the examples, just write the definition. So you got the concept. What is a transitive phrasal verb? Needs what? Object. What is an intransitive phrasal verb? It doesn't need an object. Now if you take verbs, a lot of verbs are transitive. A few verbs are intransitive. What is the reason? Generally, object, I talked about the position. What is the definition of an object? An object is a person or a thing who or which receives action from the subject. Sometimes what happens, the action doesn't go from the subject to another person or another thing. It stops with the subject. Then we say that verb is an intransitive verb. Now write a few intransitive verbs. First you write go. You go to a place, it doesn't take an object. Please write go. Then you write walk. But walk, put a star mark. It can be used as a transitive verb as well as an intransitive verb. And then you write run, fall. That's what you said. Fall. Right. Fall, run, swim. Swim also intransitive. So these don't take objects. Now we'll see the first example here. What is the first example? What time do you get up? Get up, it stops with the subject. Does it go to another person? That means can it take an object? It cannot take an object. So what is this? Intransitive phrasal verb. What time do you get up? Now, please write one more question. What time do you wake up? What time do you wake up? Now, what is the difference between wake up and get up? Wake up and get up. Wake up means to come out of your sleep. Open your eyes. Get up to come out of the bed. Generally, in conversational English, we don't ask the question, what time do you wake up? What is the reason? Imagine you wake up at 5:30, but get up at 8:30. It makes no sense at all. We always start the day with the time we get up, not a wake up. So never ask the question, what time do you wake up? Start the day with, what time do you get up? And those who don't have the handout, please raise your hands. He is going to distribute. Please raise fully. You must have had your lunch. So you should not keep like that. What is the second example? One of my neighbors passed away yesterday. Pass away means what? Expire. You have got this already. What is the idiomatic expression? Kick the bucket. Indian origin, it's my gut feeling. Could be Indian origin. So, pass away, does it go to another person? No, it stops with that person. It stops with my neighbor. So, it is also intransitive. The old lady broke down. That also stops with her. It doesn't go to another person. Break down here means what? To collapse emotionally. Break down, write the meaning. Those who don't know the meaning, please write the meaning. Get up means to come out of the bed. Pass away, to expire. And break down, to collapse emotionally. One of the meanings. To collapse emotionally. So you got two types of phrasal verbs, transitive, intransitive. These are important. Now today you have about 5 questions based on third and fourth. So please be attentive. A lot of people don't know this particular aspect related to phrasal verbs. Now types of phrasal verbs, the third one, separable phrasal verbs. So what do you understand? The words can be separated. So please write the definition. If the sentence has a separable phrasal verb, excuse me, if a sentence has a separable phrasal verb, we can separate the particle from the verb. Underline the word particle. We can separate the particle from the verb. Here particle means preposition or adverb. Whatever you see after the verb, that is called a particle. Have you written the concept? If the sentence has a separable phrasal verb, we can separate the particle from the verb. See the first example. What is it? Please turn on the light. What is the phrasal verb? Turn on. And what is the object here? Light. Please write object. And turn on, we haven't separated. As one unit I have used. What is the second example? Please turn the light on. This is also right. What is the reason? You can separate the verb and the particle. Both are right. Please mark. First one is right. So is the second one. Please turn on the light. Please turn the light on. I told him to cut down the expenses. You got this phrasal verb also, cut down. Cut down means what? Reduce. Very good. I told him to cut the expenses down. This is also right. Cut down the expenses. Cut the expenses down. You have to learn these the hard way. Separable, inseparable, it is not easy to make out. You have to spend a lot of time. You have to Google list of separable phrasal verbs commonly used and list of inseparable phrasal verbs. You have to learn by heart. Very simple. But today you are going to see some of them. And have you copied all the 4? Now we'll move on to the 4th one. Quite opposite. Separable, what is opposite? Inseparable or non-separable. The 4th one, non-separable phrasal verbs. If the sentence has a non-separable phrasal verb, we cannot separate the particle from the verb. It goes without saying. We cannot separate. Separable we can separate. non-separable, we cannot. What is the first example? The master brought about many changes. Please underline the phrasal verb, brought about. He has decided to stay away from the group. You cannot say, he has decided to stay from the group away. Does it sound right? No, you cannot separate. The mansion, who is a mansion? Manson, rather. I think I had a different word. Please strike off the letter I. Manson. Who is a Manson? The one who deals with the construction of a building, Manson. The Manson fell off the ladder. Fall off. You cannot separate. You cannot say the Manson fell the ladder off. Does it sound right? No, not at all. We all know the meaning of the word ladder, beyond any doubt. But if you take a ladder, what are these called? A ladder has, what are these called? Please write the word. Each one is called a rung. Very good. Exact word. R-U-N-G, rung. A rungs of a ladder. And fell off. But the most important thing here, exam point of view, note. What is a note here? All the intransitive phrasal verbs are inseparable. Intransitive phrasal verbs means what? Which cannot take objects. They are inseparable. That you have to keep in mind. All the intransitive phrasal verbs are inseparable. Have you written? Fine. Shall I move on to the next slide? Please respond. Say yes or no. Based on that, I will decide whether to hold it or whether to change. Shall I change? Fine. And the fifth one. 3-word phrasal verbs. Usually, phrasal verbs are 2 words. A verb and a preposition, or a verb and an adverb. But here, how many words? 3 words. So these are known as what? 3-word phrasal verbs. Some phrasal verbs have a verb and take 2 particles instead of 1. It is not a good thing to look down upon. Please underline, look down upon. Look down upon. 3 words. I had to put up with. Put up with. How many words? 3 words. It is not a good thing to look down upon others. What is the meaning of the word look down upon? To think that others are inferior. To think that others are inferior to you. To not to respect, not to consider. Put up with. What is the meaning? To bear. That's right. It means what? To bear. I had to put up with. What does it mean? I had to bear the unbearable noise. Put up with. There was no choice. I had to accept it. Yesterday I spent about 5 minutes on 2 helping verbs. Do you remember? One is must, the other one have to. What are the uses of have to? What are the 2 dimensions? Obligation imposed by an external authority, 1 dimension. What is the 2nd dimension? Obligation imposed by a situation. That's right. Same helping verb in the past, what do you say? I have to pay the bill today. This is present. I had to pay the bill yesterday. Past. Have to changes to had to. Same helping verb. Have you written the examples? It is not a good thing to look down upon others. I had to put up with the unbearable noise. Now, how to learn phrasal verbs? This is very important. 1. Based on a theme. I've been bringing phrasal verbs based on themes. Do you remember? Family related, work related. This is one approach. Based on a theme. Second approach, based on a verb. You take one verb and it takes a lot of phrasal verbs. You get a lot of, it takes a lot of prepositions. You get a lot of phrasal verbs like come across, come up with, come along, come into. What is the verb here? Come. and the preposition a different one, then you get a new phrasal verb. Bring in, bring into, bring out, bring about. Again you take break, break in, break into, break out, break up, break away. So try to learn, take the verb and learn new phrasal verbs. What is the third one? Based on a particle. Take a particle like in and learn a few phrasal verbs. Take a particle like of, learn a few phrasal verbs. But this is rather difficult. First one is easy, second one is also easy. The third one, rather a difficult approach, not easy to remember. But all the three will help you. That's it. Have you got an idea? Now, based on this knowledge, we'll go to today's paper and we'll spend time on the 5 questions. Try to use this knowledge and try to spot the errors. There are problems with the key, so you have to use this knowledge. Now, in the questions below, there is error in one or more sentences. That is very important. Please select the most appropriate option out of the 5 options given for each of the following sentences, which in your view is grammatically correct or structurally correct. Shall I read out the first one? After 20 days, you all have the mock test paper. After 20 days, the teachers called off their strike. First you underline, identify the phrasal verb. That is a prerequisite. What is a phrasal verb here? Call off means what? Write the meaning. Call off means what? Cancel. It goes with, write the combinations. Last 5 questions, mock test paper, last 5 questions, 26 to 30. Now some students are searching. Now call off, cancel, write the combinations. Please write meeting, meeting, function, program, program, and matches, match, cricket, sports related, any match. And also in this context, what is the combination word? Strike. Now this seems right or wrong at the outset. Seems right, hold this one. We have to check because the instructions, one or more. You have to read all the 5 sentences. 4 or 5? 4. After 20 days, the teachers called on their strike. Call on, not correct. Write the meaning of the phrasal verb call on. Call on has got many meanings. The typical meaning, to visit. Visit. I think I gave the other day. My example, the Prime Minister called on the President, means what? The Prime Minister visited the President. Call on, visit. So is it right or wrong? Mark it wrong. After 20 days, the teachers called at their strike. Called at? No, not correct. After 20 days, the teachers called away. This is also not right. So what is the answer here? Only one option. Which option is that? The first option. So only one. That is the answer. Shall I move on to the next one? 27. This is rather difficult. Someone let the cat out of the bag. Please underline, let the cat out of the bag. So what do you understand? To release. Very good. To let the cat out of the bag means to release the cat. And the news broke down everywhere. Already I've got the phrasal verb break down. What is the typical meaning? Stop working or stop functioning. What is the other meaning I gave some time back? To collapse emotionally. So does it go with this context? What is the context here? The news. Please underline the news. Oh no. You all have the paper. The news broke down everywhere. News breakdown, it is not correct. Wrong combination. So please mark it wrong. Someone let the cat out of the bag and the news broke through. That is also not correct. Breakthrough, please write the meaning. Breakthrough means a major discovery or development. A major discovery or development or success. Success. Usually it goes with a research and sometimes talks between two countries. A breakthrough in the bilateral talks. A breakthrough in the field of biotechnology. Usually it goes with science and technology. It doesn't go with news. Someone let the cat out of the bag and the news broke in. Not correct. Please write the meaning of two meanings, break in. One meaning, please write interrupt. Break in means what? Interrupt. And write the combinations. Please write conversation, conversation, then presentation, meeting. A typical everyday English, we say, don't break in while I'm speaking. Don't break in while I'm teaching. Don't break in while I'm explaining. Means what? Don't interrupt. Write the second meaning of break in. Break in also means to enter by force. To enter by force. F-O-R-C-E. To enter by force. But generally we don't use this one to convey this particular meaning. Bracket you write break into. We use a different phrasal verb. Which one is that? Break into. Both mean the same. Break into, to enter by force. So does it go with news? No, mark it wrong. So 1 is not correct, 2 is not correct, 3 is not correct. What is the fourth option? Someone let the cat out of the bag and the news broke out. Write the meaning of break out. Break out means to start suddenly. To start suddenly. And also write to spread out, to get, to spread out, to reach a lot of places. And write the combinations. Combinations are very important. Please write fire, F-I-R-E, fire, F-I-R-E, fire. Then you write diseases, diseases. Then you write clashes, clashes of fights, C-L-A-S-H-E-S, clashes or fights, F-I-G-H-T-S. And here what is the word? News. Sensational news breaks out. Now what is the answer here? Only 4. Which option says that? Now this is really important. He went to railway station to see his friend off. Now what is the phrasal verb here? Please underline see off. See off means what? You go with someone to say goodbye to him. Right? You all must be knowing that. Now at the outset, this is right or wrong. Now here the knowledge related to separable, inseparable comes into picture. If you know that, what is the phrasal verb here? Please be attentive. What is the phrasal verb? See off. First you have to know whether it is separable or inseparable. If you know it is separable, then it is right or wrong? It is right. If you know it is not separable, then it is not right. How many of you think it is separable? Raise your hands. And how many of you think it is not separable? Raise your hands. And third question, what are others doing here? Now it is separable. It is separable. That means what? It is right or wrong? Please mark it right. He went to railway station to see his friend off. No second thoughts. It is a separable phrasal verb. Second option, he went to railway station to see off his friend. See off. This is also right. Please mark it right. He went to railway station to see his friend off, but it should be double F, so it is not correct. He went to railway station to see off. Again, single F, not correct. So, how many options are right? 1 and 2. Which option says that? Which option? No option there. That's why I said at the outset, I said there is a problem with the key. When I saw this, I had to cross-check. Before I come, a few things disturb. Usually key, I know it is not correct, but sometimes I also doubt. They can't afford to make a mistake like this. Then I cross-check. So when I cross-checked, it is a separable phrasal verb. That means what? 1 and 2. Which option says that? No option as such. So you make a note. The fifth option, what is it? 1 and 2. You create your own option. No, these are very important. 17 they started, IBPS. We had a special session in the same room. We got about 500 students. Phrasal verbs, what are phrasal verbs, and how to answer those questions, the correct answers, all that. I spent about half an hour, if I'm not wrong. And this is not easy. Only a few people can answer based on that knowledge. So you got the answer. Shall I move on to the next one? Don't get the train off till it stops. What is the phrasal verb here? Underline, get off. Now again the knowledge, separable, inseparable. How many of you think separable? How many of you think inseparable? Only a few students, they are right. It is inseparable. What is it? Please make a note, inseparable. Don't get the train off till it stops, not correct. Don't get by the train till it stops, not relevant. Don't get away the train till it stops. So what is the fourth option? Don't get off the train. Don't get the train off, not correct. So only one answer is correct. Which one is that? Fourth option. Which option says that? Don't get off the train till it stops. Inseparable. Please write inseparable. India will take Australia on today. First you write the meaning of take on. It has got many meanings. In this context, please write to fight or to compete, to fight against or to compete with someone. Compete. What is the spelling? Compete. To fight against or to compete. So India will compete with Australia. That is the meaning of the sentence. So again, separable, inseparable. Who says inseparable? That is right. To save time, it is inseparable. But there's one more dimension. I will touch that one later. Now, which option is right based on that knowledge? India will take on Australia today. Will take after. Resemble, not correct. Take away, snatch, not correct. So what is it? India will take on Australia today. Now some of these, I said inseparable, but the most important thing, do remember, if you have to use a pronoun, what is it? Pronoun, you can separate. You can separate. Now imagine here, it is between two countries. Imagine between two individuals. Then you can separate. Write one example. The new boxer, or the new player will take him on. Will take him on. Take him on. Him. What is a pronoun here? Underline that. Whenever you use a pronoun, do remember, you can use between the verb and the particle. Pronoun always comes between the verb and the particle. Please write note, N-O-T-E. A pronoun always comes between the verb and the particle. Particle could be a preposition or an adverb. A pronoun always comes between a verb and a particle. Now write one example. I went to the station. I went to the station to see him off. To see him off. We don't say to see off him. It sounds ridiculous, rather odd. See him off. So where is the pronoun? Between the verb and the particle. That's it. I would like to know who has got all the 5 correct. Anyone? Please give them a big hand. Highly appreciable. That's wonderful.